Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Tech Tips. This week I'll be reviewing a little shop drawing item, and it has to do with the view titles. So let me just take this panel here. Let's just throw in a shop drawing in there. Let's go in there. Say OK. Let's look at what was generated. So we see here we have our three views and we have our titles, but here this title is kind of infringing here on these dimensions. And this actually is a request from one of our clients. They wanted to know how to move this. And even if you go into our sheet where we have all of these views here, and even if you try to increase the zone for this, it doesn't really matter. It's still going to be put in the same place. But there's actually a way to kind of circumvent this. So this is actually a Revit family. So what we used actually when we did our viewport was to have the view title only. If you have the line, this might not work, but if you're just using this method might work. First thing we're going to do is just measure out how much we need to move it. So let's grab all three of them here, just make sure that they all fit into that sheet. Let's move and let's just measure. Let's see, uh, half an inch. Oh, half an inch seems to be fine. So let's go ahead and move that half an inch. So this is actually a Revit family. So let's go into our families to see that. So let me just first, before I do that, let me go in here and do edit type just to see which one it's using. It's using the view title. So let's go down to our families. Oh, here it is. And it's probably an annotation family. Go down to view title. There it is. Let's right click and hit edit. And then when you open it up like this, there is an insertion point for these families. And the insertion point typically is in the crosshairs of the reference planes, but they're not open here. So we're just going to hit VV on our keyboard, go into annotation, make sure those reference planes are turned on, say OK. And there you are. So that's the insertion point for this family. So let's just grab everything. Make sure I have everything. There we go. And we're going to move, and I believe I said half an inch. I think that's what we said. So let's go down half an inch. And now we're going to make sure to duplicate this, because if you're using this in any other sheets or in your floor plans or whatnot, we don't want to mess that up. So we'll do save as family. And I'm just going to call this one shop. Shop view title and say save. I'm going to load it right in there and say OK. So now what we have to do is make sure that we apply this. We have to apply this to our new view title. Come in here and select that shop one we just created, say apply and OK. And of course it's going to be lower down because we moved them. So let's just redo the shop drawing just to make sure it comes in properly. So let's go ahead in here. Let me just delete this. Delete. And let's choose a member of that panel and throw in that shop drawing once again. Let's go have a look. And there we are. Now it comes in, no interference, as you see. And another thing that you can do, another request that we'd had was, can I change the size of this? Yes, you do. You can also do that in that family. So there's the family once again, shop drawing. What you can do is come in here. All you have to do is change the text size. We'll come in here and say edit type. You can switch this to the text size. Let's make it a bit smaller. Let's make that 1/16 maybe. And say OK. And there you see, and maybe we want that to be, yeah, that's 1/16. And maybe we're going to want to change this diameter to 1/16 as well. There we go. Let's load that back into the project. And we're going to override that. And let's go back to our sheet. And you see now it is smaller. Maybe you want to make some adjustments by bringing this a little bit higher and then reload into your project, override the existing, go back there, and then that's what you get. So if you do want to change the size, maybe it's not necessary to bring it down. Um, so we had those two requests. Can I move it? Can I change the text size? So if you do if you do want to change the text size, I recommend you do that before moving it down. Maybe it might fit there and you won't need to move it. Um, and if you just want to keep the text size, which is the 1/8 that is there by default, then you can move it by accessing the family and dropping it down from that insertion point. So thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time on Tech Tips.